Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Tumeva mata cha pita tumeva Mandushka saka tumeva vidyandra vinam tumeva sarvamam deva deva. Shri Gurudeva ki jai. Jai Mahavira Ramana ki jai. Jai Nitai jai Go. Jai Jai Sri Radheshyam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, Book 3, Discourse 1, Meeting of Uddhava and Vidura. 1. Sri Sukha said, it was this very question that Vidura asked the worshipful sage Maitreya in the past, when the former had retired to the forest, quitting his prosperous home, too. It was at Vidura's residence that Lord Sri Krishna, the ruler of the universe, who happened to visit Hastinapura as an ambassador of your forefathers, the Pandavas, called as if it were his own house, refusing the hospitality of the Paurava king Duryodhana. 3. The king said, where did Vidura's meeting with the worshipful Maitreya take place, and when did he have a talk with him? Kindly tell me all this, my lord. 4. Surely the question which the pure-hearted Vidura asked of the noble sage Maitreya could not have been of a small consequence, particularly when it was honored with a reply by a saint of no mean order. 5. Sutta continue. Question as above by King Parikshit, and much delighted at heart over this, the all-wise Sukha, the foremost of sages, said in reply, listen. Sri Sukha proceed. You know how King Dhritarashtra, who was not only blind but had also lost his right judgment and supported his wicked sons through unrighteousness in the unrighteous ways, and his younger brother's fatherless son Yudhishthira and others lodged in a house of lack and the same set on fire. 7. Nay, when in open court his second son, Dush's son, dragged by the hair Dhritarashtra's own daughter-in-law and the spouse of King Yudhishthira, Queen Draupadi, whose tears washed off the saffron paint on her bosom, she being covered by a single cloth. The king failed to stop that abominable act of his son. 8. The guileless King Yudhishthira, who was devoted to truth and regarded none as his enemy, was worsted in a gambling bout by unfair means and sent in exile to the forest for a period of 13 years. But when, on expiry of the term of exile, he returned from the forest and asked back his parental share according to the terms of agreement, Duryodhana refused to part with it, blinded as he was by infatuation. 9. When Sri Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, was sent by Yudhishthira to the Kaurava court, he spoke there words which were full of nectar to his devotees, Bhishma and others. But the king Duryodhana attached no importance to them, since all his stock of merit has been exhausted. 10. Again, when invited by his elder brother, Dhritarashtra, Vidura entered the latter's private chamber and was asked to give his advice. That crest jewel of wise counselors gave a piece of advice which politicians still speak of with reverence as Viduraniti, the council of Vidura. 11. Vidura said, "Return to the chair of Yudhishthira, who regards none as his enemy, and who has been tolerating the wrongs done by you, even though they are hard to bear. He is followed by Bhima, whom you are terribly afraid of, and who, with his younger brothers Arjuna and others, is hissing in fury as a serpent." 12. The cause of the Pandavas, the sons of Pritha, has been espoused by Lord Sri Krishna, the bestower of liberation himself, who is adored as a deity by Yadava chiefs, who is staying at present in his own capital, Dwarka, having conquered big sovereigns, and who has all the Brahmanas and gods on his side. 13. It is evil incarnate that has entered your house in the person of Duryodhana, whom you are fostering as a son and who is an enemy of the Supreme Person, Sri Krishna. That is why you too have turned your face against Sri Krishna and lost your splendor. Therefore, in the interest of your race, abandon this unlucky fellow at once. 14. Vidura had a disposition which was coveted even by saints, but when he uttered these words on that spot, the anger of Duryodhana and his companions Karna, Dukshasan, Duryodhana's younger brother, and Shakuni, son of Shubala and Duryodhana's maternal uncle, knew no bounds. Their lips began to quiver, and Duryodhana insultingly interposed. 15. Who has called this crooked son of a maidservant here? Hostilely disposed toward the master, myself, and whose crumbs he has grown fat. He works for the enemy's cause. Although his life may be spared, he should be banished from my capital at once. 16. Cut to the quick by these most poignant words, which pierced his ears like shafts in the presence of his brother, King Dhritarashtra, but recognizing the greatness of Lord's Maya, deluding potency, Vidura did not feel the last perturbed in mind and quietly left the palace himself, depositing his bow at the gate. 17. Vidura, whose birth in the race of Kurus had been secured as a result of great merit, who was an accusation to the race of Kuru, departed from Hastinapura and, with a view to acquiring religious merit, undertook a pilgrimage to all holy places on the earth's surface, sacred to the Lord, whose feet are ever hallowed, and where the Lord resides in 1,001 forms, images. 18. Unaccompanied by anyone else, he visited on foot cities, sacred groves, mountains, bowers, rivers, and lakes containing limpid water and holy places graced with the Lord's image. 19. He perambulated the earth in the garb of a recluse, so that he could not be recognized by his own people. Lived on pure food such as fruits, etc., dropped from trees, bathed in all sacred water without exception, slept on the ground, never made his toilet and observed vows that pleased Hari. 20. While he was yet traveling in the land of Bratavarsa and reached Pravasa near Dwarka, King Yudhishthira, son of Pritha, had established himself with the help of Sri Krishna as the universal and undisputed sovereign of the entire globe. 21. There, at Pravasa, he heard how his kinsmen, the Kauravas, had perished due to mutual jealousy. Even as a thicket of bamboos is consumed by fire produced by the friction of one bamboo against another, grieving over the Holocaust, therefore, he quietly repaired to the bank of the Sarasvati, where it flows in a westerly direction. 21, 22, and 23. On the bank of that river, he visited and stayed at 11 different spots, severally sacred to the memory of the sage Trita, Ushana, the father of Sukracharya, and Asita, Swayambhuva, Manu, King Prithu, the god of fire, the wind god, King Sudasa, the cows, Guha, god Kartikeya, the eldest son of Lord Shiva, and King Shraddha Deva, by Vaishvata Manu, and many other sanctuaries in this area consecrated to Lord Vishnu, founded by holy sages and gods, and containing temples that bore on their domes the mark of Sudarshan, the sheath of his weapons, the very sight of which reminded one of Lord Sri Krishna. 24. Journeying thence through the prosperous land of Saurashtra and the kingdoms of Saubira, Matsya, and Kuru Jangal, he reached in due course the bank of the Jamuna, where he came across Uddhava, another great devotee of the Lord. Vidura fondly clasped in close embrace this celebrated servant of Lord Sri Krishna, who had attained perfect serenity of mind and was an erstwhile pupil of the sage Brihaspati, the preceptor of the gods, and inquired of him the welfare of his relations, the Yadavas, the proteges of the Lord. The two primal persons, Sri Balarama and Sri Krishna, appeared in human semblance on this globe in response to the prayers of Brahma, who was born of the very lotus that had sprung from the Lord's own navel. Having relieved the earth of its burden and brought the light to the whole world, are they doing well in the house of Shurasena, the father of Vasudev? 27. Dear Uddhava, is our brother-in-law, sister's husband. Note: Vasudeva had a number of wives, one of them, Pauravi by name, being a cousin of Dhritarashtra. Hence Vidura speaks of Vasudeva as his sister's husband. Vasudeva, dear Uddhava, is our brother-in-law, Vasudeva, quite happy. Vasudeva, who is the greatest friend and well-wisher of the Kurus, and who, like a father, liberally bestows on his sisters the gifts of their choice, bringing satisfaction by offering rich presents even to their husbands. 28. Again, dear friend, is that heroic Pradyumna, the generalissimo of the Yadava forces, quite well. Pradyumna, who was no other than the god of love in his previous incarnation, and who his mother Rukmini secured from the Lord by propitiating the Brahmanas. 29. Is Ugrasena the ruler of the Satwatas, Prisnis, Vogas, and Dasarhas, prospering? Ugrasena, whom the lotus-eyed Lord Sri Krishna installed on the throne of Mathura, even though he had stood aloof, having lost all hope of regaining the throne. 30. Is Sri Hari's Sri Krishna's son, Samba, who is the equal of his father and the foremost of Kar warriors, faring well, O gentle Uddhava. Samba, who is no other than the god Guha, whom goddess Ambika Parvati bore in her womb and in the past, and the womb Jambavati, the daughter of Jambavan, and one of the 8 principal consorts of Lord Sri Krishna, gave birth once again as a fruit of her religious observances. With this shloka 30, we end this first part of Book 3, Discourse 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev. Jai Radharaman Mahavira ki Jai, Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur, Jai Jai Sri Radheshyam. Jagannath Baladev Subhadrai ki Jai, Jai Jai Sri Radheshyam.